Welcome to the Disney Therapy Podcast. I'm Tyler Rich. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I'm going to be your host in each episode as I'm joined by a fellow therapist here in my group practice here in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is our first pre-episode. I'm going to put this on the welcome of our YouTube channel that's going to host the podcast along with any audio podcast station. So one of the reasons why I wanted to create the Disney Therapist podcast is I found myself in my practice using a lot of examples from TVs and movies to help my clients understand themselves and to help them learn and grow. This is something that like all therapists do. We use examples from the real world. I think last year when Game of Thrones was ending, I talked about Game of Thrones a lot. Like we use pop culture references a lot to drive home examples or us to understand ourselves. Really, that's where archetypes come from. That's why we have a hero's journey. There are so many great YouTube channels and podcasts out there that break down how stories share like the human experience. And as a therapist, we tap into stories that share the human experience to help people live a better human experience. So one of the things that we tend to do a lot when I talk to my colleagues is we talk about like examples of how we help people, how we share things with people. And one of the things that we realized in a group practice here with my fellow therapist is we all love Disney, and we talk about Disney movies a lot in session. Not just Disney movies, but Marvel, Star Wars, anything kind of in the Disney universe. We talk quite a bit, and we realized that's really helpful. So we thought it would be fun if we sat together and we dissected movies, or we talked about themes that exist within like the Disney universe of movies and how that applies to therapists. So we're real therapists who actively work with clients weekly, and we wanted to be able to share some of this knowledge with other people out there to see if it could be helpful. So in each episode in this podcast, what we're going to do is look at Disney, Marvel, Pixar, Star Wars, anything pretty much can be found on Disney Plus. And we're going to examine whether it's a movie or a TV show, examine it and look at different themes that could be explored for us to live a better, richer, more fulfilled life. So one of the topics that we have coming up is like, we're going to look at what does Disney teach us about grief and grieving? How do some stories tell us deeper truths about archetypes are part of our own psyche? You know, what maybe wrong expectations do Disney movies talk about or show us with relationships? You know, how is mental health explored and shown up in Marvel movies? You know, all these are great like themes that we are really interested in talking about and sharing with you. So each week, we're going to explore a theme or a movie and see how a theme shows up. So sometimes we're going to dissect a movie specifically, and sometimes we're going to dissect a theme and talk about multiple movies. So some of the things that will be coming up in the next couple of weeks is, what does like Inside Out teach us about ourselves? You know, can we change, or do we discover who we are? And that's when we kind of are going to explore Iron Man. How do we find what our true identity is? I want to look at Toy Story. You know, again, I said earlier, but what does Disney teach us about grief and dying? There's a lot of death and a lot of grief throughout all Disney history, from early as Bambi to Lion King to Big Hero 6. There's a lot of stories about grief. You know, one of the things that we want to explore is like, what are the daddy issues that exist in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? How the whole series kind of revolves around some daddy issues and character after character after character. And what is that? And why is that there? And what does that tell us about masculinity and manhood? You know, what does Disney teach us about sadness? How does Disney teach us about connecting? So all these things are done through the lens of Disney movies because we love Disney. So if you enjoy Disney and you enjoy kind of learning about yourself or growing, this is the perfect podcast for you. I want you to make sure you subscribe on our YouTube channel. You subscribe to whatever podcast player you like to listen to. Subscribe to multiple. We love comments on our channels. You can check our website out at the Disney Therapist Podcast or the DisneyTherapist.com. And you'll be able to find us under the Disney Therapist on all major podcast streaming apps. So really, the overall goal is we want to share kind of our knowledge and our expertise and kind of grow and learn together. We cannot wait to start exploring Disney with you.